If I can ask everybody to please be seated. Sorry, everybody please be seated.
Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad salawat. Today we'll be reciting Dua Kumail. I've been asked to recite in English, and so the Arabic and English will be on the screen for those who would like to follow. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم إني أسألك برحمتك التي وسعت كل شيء. O Allah, I ask you by your mercy which embraces all things, and by your strength through which you dominate all things, and towards which all things are humble, and before which all things are lowly, and by your invincibility through which you overwhelm all things, and by your might which nothing can resist, and by your tremendousness which has filled all things, by your force which towers over all things, and by your face which subsists after the annihilation of all things, and by your names which have filled the foundations of all things, and by your knowledge which encompasses all things, and by the light of your face through which all things are illuminated. Ya Nur, Ya Quddus, O light, O holy. Ya Awwal al-Awwaleen, wa Ya Akhir al-Akhirin, O first of those who are first, last of those who are last. O Allah, forgive me those sins which tear apart safeguards. O Allah, forgive me those sins which draw down adversities. O Allah, forgive me those sins which alter blessings. O Allah, forgive me those sins which hold back supplication. O Allah, forgive me those sins which cut down the hopes. O Allah, forgive me those sins which draw down tribulation. O Allah, forgive me every sin I have committed and every mistake I have made. O Allah, verily I seek nearness to you through the remembrance of you, and I seek intercession from you with yourself, and I ask you through your munificence to bring me near to your proximity, and to provide me with the gratitude towards you, and to inspire me with your remembrance. O Allah, verily I ask you with the asking of a submissive, abased and lowly man, to show me forbearance, to have mercy on me, and to make me satisfied and content with your appointment, and make me humble in every state. O Allah, I ask you with the asking of one whose indigence is extreme, and who has stated to you in difficulties his needs, and whose desire for what is with you has become great. O Allah, your force is tremendous, your place is lofty, and your deception is hidden, your command is manifest, and your domination is overwhelming. Your power is unhindered, and escape from your governance is impossible. O Allah, I find no forgiver of my sins, nor concealer of my ugly acts, nor transformer of any of my ugly deeds into good acts, but you. There is no God but you. Glory be to you, and to you is praise. Ya Allah, I have wronged myself, and I have been audacious in my ignorance, and I have depended upon your ancient remembrance of me and your favor towards me. O Allah, my protector, how many ugly things you have concealed, and how many burdens and tribulations you have abolished, and how many stumbles you have prevented, and how many ordeals you have repelled, and how much beautiful praise for which I was unworthy you have spread. O Allah, my tribulation is tremendous, and my bad state is excessive, and my acts are inadequate, and my fetters have tied me down, and my far-fetched hopes have held me back from my gain, and this world with its delusions, my own soul with its offenses, and my delay have deceived me. O my Master, so I ask you by your might, not to let my evil works and acts veil my supplication from you, and not to disgrace me through hidden things you only know, and not to hasten me to punishment for what I have done in private, my evil acts in secrecy and my misdeeds, and my continuous negligence and my ignorance, and my manifold passions and my forgetfulness. And by your might, O Allah, be kind to me in all states, and be gracious to me in all affairs. My God and my Lord, have I any but you from whom I ask to remove my affliction and my regard for my affairs? My God and my protector, you put into effect through me a decree in which I followed the caprice of my own soul, and I did not remain wary of adorning my enemy. So he deluded me through my soul's caprice, and therein destiny favored him. So in what was put into effect through me in that situation, I transgressed some of your statutes, and I disobeyed some of your commands. So yours is the arguments against me in all of that, and I have no argument in what your destiny put into effect through me therein, nor in what you decree and your tribulation imposed upon me. Now, Allah, I have come to you, my God, after my shortcomings and my immoderation towards myself, proffering my excuse, regretful, broken, apologizing, asking forgiveness, repenting, acknowledging, submissive, confessing. I find no place to flee from what occurred through me, nor any place of escape to which I turn in my affairs, other than your acceptance of my excuse and your entering me into the compass of your mercy. O Allah, so accept my excuse, have mercy upon the severity of my affliction, and release me from the tightness of my fetters. My Lord, have mercy upon the weakness of my body, the thinness of my skin, and the frailty of my bones. O you who gave rise to my creation, to the remembrance of me, to the nurture of me, to the goodness towards me, and to the nourishment of me, bestow upon me, for the sake of your having given rise to me with generosity and your previous goodness to me. O Allah, Ya Ilahi, Ya Sayyidi wa Rabbi, can you see yourself tormenting me with your fire after I have professed your unity, and after the acknowledgement of you in my heart has embraced, and the remembrance of you my tongue has constantly mentioned, and the love of you to which my mind has clung? And after the sincerity of my confession and the supplication, humbleness before your Lordship, Hayhat, far be it from you. You are more generous than that you should squander him who you have nurtured, or banish him who you have brought near, or drive away him who you have given an abode, or submit to tribulation him whom you have spread and shown mercy. Would that I knew, my Master, my God and my Protector, whether you will give the fire dominion over faces fallen down prostrate before your tremendousness, and over tongues voicing sincerely the profession of your unity and giving thanks to you in praise, and over hearts acknowledging your divinity through verification, and over minds encompassing knowledge of you until they have become humble, and over bodily members speeding to the places of your worship in obedience and beckoning for your forgiveness in submission. Of you, nor has such been reported, thanks to concerning you. O all generous my Lord, O all generous my Lord, and though you know my weakness before a little of this world's tribulations and punishments, and before those ordeals which befall its inhabitants, even though it is a tribulation and an ordeal whose stay is short, whose subsistence is but a little, whose period is but fleeting, so how can I endure the tribulations of the next world and the great ordeals that occur within it? For it is a tribulation whose period is long, whose station endures, and whose sufferers are given no respite. Since it only occurs as a result of your wrath, your vengeance, and your anger, and these cannot be withstood by the heavens and the earth. For I am a weak, lowly, wretched, and miserable slave. My God, my Lord, my Master, my Protector, for which things would I complain to you, and which things would I lament and weep? For the pain of severity of chastisement, or for the length of period of tribulations? So if you take me to the punishment with your enemies, and gather me with the people of your tribulation, and separate me from your friends and saints, then suppose, my God, my Master, my Protector, and my Lord, that I am able to endure your chastisement. How then can I endure separation from you? And suppose that I am able to endure the heat of your fire. How then can I endure not gazing upon your generosity? Or how can I dwell in the fire while my hope is with your pardon? So by your might, my Master and my Protector, I swear sincerely, if you leave me with speech, I will lament to you with them from the midst of the fire's inhabitants, with the lamentation of the hopeful. I will cry to you with the cry of those crying for help. I will weep to you with the weeping of the bereft, and I will call to you. Where are you, O sponsor of the believers, O goal of the hopes of your knowers, O aid of those who seek assistance, O friend of the hearts of the sincere, and O God of all the worlds? Can you see yourself? Glory be to you, my God, and to you is praise, hearing from within the fire the voice of a slave surrendered to you, imprisoned there because of his violations, tasting the favor of its torment because of his disobedience, and confined within its levels because of his sins and crimes, while he laments to you with the lamentation of one hopeful of your mercy, and calls to you with the tongue of those who profess your unity, and entreats you by your lordship, my Protector. So how should he remain in the chastisement while he has hope for your clemency? Or how should the fire cause him pain while he expects your bounty and mercy? Or how should its flames burn him while you hear his voice and see his place? Or how should its groaning encompass him while you, Ya Allah, know his weakness? Or how should he convulse amongst its levels while you know his sincerity? Or how should its keepers torture him while he calls out to you, Ya Rabbi? Or how should he have hope of your bounty in freeing him from within it while you abandon him within it? Far be it from you, that is not what is expected of you, nor what is well known of your bounty, nor it is similar to the goodness and kindness you have shown to those who profess your unity. So I declare with certainty that were it not for what you have decreed concerning the chastisement of your deniers, and what you have foreordained concerning the everlasting home of those who stubbornly resist, that you would have made the fire, all of it, cool and safe. And no one would have place of rest or abode within it. But you, Ya Allah, holy are your names, has sworn that you will fill it with the unbelievers, both jinn and men together. And you will place those who stubbornly resist therein forever. And you, majestic is your eulogy said at the beginning, and were gracious through kindness as a favor. What? أَفَمَنْ كَانَ مُؤْمِنًا كَمَنْ كَانَ فَاسِقًا لَا يَسْتَوُونَ. What is he who has been a believer like unto him who has been ungodly? They are not equal. My God and my Master, so I ask you, by the power you have apportioned, and by the decision which you have determined and imposed, and through which you have overcome him towards whom it has been put into effect, that you forgive me in this night and at this hour for every offense I have committed, and every sin I have performed, and every ugly thing I have concealed, and every folly I have enacted, whether I have hidden it or announced it, or have concealed it or manifested it, and every evil act which you have commanded the noble writers to record, those whom you have appointed to watch over what appears from me, and whom you have made along with my bodily members witness against me, and you was yourself the watcher over me from behind them, and the witness of what is hidden from them. But through your mercy you concealed it, and through your bounty you veiled it. I ask you that you bestow upon me an abundant share of every good, or kindness you confer, or goodness that you unfold, or provision that you spread out, or sin that you forgive, or error you cover. Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi, Ya Rab, my God, my Master, my Protector, owner of my bondage, O he in whose hands is my forelock, and he who knows my affliction and my misery, O he who is aware of my poverty and indigence, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord, I ask you by your truth and your holiness and the greatness of your attributes and names, that you make my times in the night and day inhabited by your remembrance, and joined to your service, and my works acceptable to you, so that my works and my litanies may all become a single litany, and my occupation with your service everlasting. My Master, O he upon whom I depend, O he to whom I complain about my affairs. Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi, Ya Rab, strengthen my bodily members in your service, and fortify my ribs in determination, and bestow upon me earnestness in my fear of you, and continuity in my being joined to your service, so that I may move easily towards you in the battlefields of the foremost, and hurry to you among the prominent, and desire fervently your proximity among the fervently desirous, and move nearer to you with the nearness of the sincere, and fear you with the fear of those who have certitude, and gather with the believers in your vicinity. O Allah, whoever desires evil for me, desire it for him. Whoever deceives me, deceive him, and make me one of the most excellent of your slaves in portion from you, and the nearest of them in station to you, and the most elected of them in proximity to you. for that cannot be attained except by your bounty, and grant generously to me through your munificence, and incline towards me with your splendor, and protect me with your mercy, and make my tongue remember you without ceasing, and my heart enthralled by your love, and be gracious to me by answering me favorably, and nullify my slips, and forgive my lapses. For you have decreed your worship for your servants, and commanded them to supplicate to you, and assured them that they would be answered. So towards you, my Lord, I have turned my face, and towards you, my Lord, I have extended my hand. So by your might, comply with my supplication, and make me attain my desires. Do not sever my hoping for your favors, and spare me the evil of my enemies from among the jinn and men. Ya Sari' al-Ridha, اغفر لمن لا يملك إلا الدعاء فإنك فعال لما تشاء يا من اسمه دواء وذكره شفاء وطاعته غنى ارحم من رأس ماله الرجاء وسلاهه البكاء يا سابغ النعم يا دافع النقم يا نور المستوحشين في الظلم يا عالما لا يعلم صل على محمد وآل محمد وافعل بي ما أنت أهله وصلى الله على رسوله والأئمة الميامين من آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا. الفاتحة.
If I can now please welcome Dr. Bilkis Khawaja to share her Quranic reflections with us, and if you can please welcome her with the salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings on you, dear brothers. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin al-ma'sumin al-mazlumin. Salawat. I'm going to do the reflection or the translation and tafsir of the first ayah of the Qur'an, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Respectfully, my teachers are here, so with due respect to them. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim has 5 words, 5 letters, sorry, 5 words. So one is an article and 4 are ism, name. So B is the first one, then ism, then Allah, then Ar-Rahman, then Ar-Rahim. So I'm going to read the translation and then I'm going to explain each word. I begin or seek help. So there's an implied, no, the common translation is in the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. But when was the last time you used the word beneficent? So if we don't use the word beneficent in our general day-to-day language, then it's unfair to translate as such a magnificent word as Rahman and Rahim as beneficent. So there's an implication for the B, it is that I begin with or I seek help with. The name, Ism is the name, direct reflection of Allah. Now Allah are two words, Al-Ilah. Al means the and Ilah means God. The God, He who bewilders the rational mind due to the intensity of His beauty. The deity worthy of worship, love and obedience. Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. Now both these words are from the root letters. As many of you know here that Arabic works on root letters. So the three root letters in the word Rahman are Rahama. And incidentally, the uterus, the womb of a mother is also called Raham. So it comes from the same root letters. If it's Ar-Rahman and Rahim, if both mean merciful, why has Allah put both words in one ayah together? So sometimes two words that are similar are put together because they're similar, but sometimes they're also put because of there is some difference. Otherwise they wouldn't be put, otherwise just one word have been put. So the Rahim complements the Rahman, and I'll explain how. Rahman is extremely, vastly and intensely merciful, loving and caring. Ar-Rahim is the especially and continuously merciful, loving and caring. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is the phrase that is used to start any work or anything. Even taking one step, before taking a step, we should say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Because anything that is done with the name of God or in the name of God. By the way, the article be has 7 meanings. But we won't go into that because that's going to be a lengthy discussion. But the commonest ones are in, which is used commonly, or with, to be more precise, as mentioned by Allama Tabatabai Rahmatullah alayhi. So any work that starts with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim shall continue and will not perish, as Allah says in the Qur'an, that everything will perish except His face. So the preposition be in the phrase in the name of God is related to an implied verb, I begin or I seek help with. So the full translation of this phrase or ayah, I will come at the end. But let's just dissect the other words. Ism means name, but it also means a sign that points to something. It comes from the root letter Samawa. So for example, Al-Sima is sign or identifying mark, and Al-Sumu means height or eminence. So a name is supposed to give a person or a thing a height or a status. So when, for instance, when a child, a toddler, when his or her name is mentioned, he or she feels very proud because it's saying that's me. Yes, there's an identity and there's a pride attached to it. So that's why it's height as in sama, as in the sky. So that is ism. And the next word is Allah. Allah, the divine name, was originally Al-Ilah. The I in the middle was omitted because of frequent use. So Al-Ilah, 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 Al-Ilah become Allah to become one word. What is the meaning of Alaha? It comes from the root letters Aliha or Waliha, means bewildered. That means you cannot comprehend. How much ever you want to comprehend Allah, you can't. Even if you're Einstein, you can't comprehend. It is on the paradigm of al-fi'al in the meaning of al-maf'ul, the object. So it's a subject and the object. For instance, the kitab. Al-kitab is also al-maktub. You read it, but then it's also written. You write a book, but it's also written. So Allah means al-ilah, the one who is worshipped or al-ma'lu, means the one who bewilders minds. Quite clearly, it has become the proper name of God. It was commonly used in the meaning in Arabic long before the Qur'an was revealed, as in 2 ayahs in the Qur'an. For example, Surah Zukhruf, ayah 87, where they say, and if you should ask them who created them, they would certainly say Allah. And in Surah 6, ayah 136, they say, this is for Allah, so they assert, and then they say, and this is for his associates. So they believe in Allah, but then they believe, the polytheists believe in the associates as well. It is the proper name of God. It is a unique name, and nobody or nothing in the world can ever be named Allah. Even for Rahman, which comes next, which is the next in command, you can say Abdur Rahman. And Rahim is also named, people are named after the name Rahim, but nobody can have the name Allah. Now, what is the difference between Rahman and Rahim? Rahman is on the paradigm of used for magnification and exaggeration. So Ar-Rahman, and even if you look at the word Rahman and the word Rahim, Rahman is expansive, so it's everywhere. So that is in the context of space, and in the Rahman basically means super, super, super merciful. No one or nobody or nothing can be more merciful than that. And Rahim is a paradigm of a sifat al-mushabaha, which means perpetual or inseparable. Therefore, Ar-Rahman is translated as the all-encompassing mercy, which is in the present now, and it's for everybody, believers or disbelievers. Whereas Ar-Rahim is specifically for those who are obedient slaves of Allah, abd, and it's reserved for those in the hereafter. So there's a continuality and a perpetualness about it. So those are the difference in time and intensity. So now we go to the translation of the whole ayah as translated by Allama Tabatabai. Therefore, the full import of the sentence would be as follows. The guidance, total guidance, is begun with the name of God, the Ar-Rahman, the all-encompassing merciful. He is God, whom the servants return to. He is Ar-Rahman, who has opened the way of his all-encompassing mercy for believers and disbelievers alike. The mercy which provides them with all that is necessary and good for their existence and life. So everybody gets air, water, oxygen, anything that's needed for life is provided to everybody, regardless of their belief. He is merciful who has received, so now the merciful, which is Rahim, who has reserved his special mercy for the believers, the mercy which ensures their happiness in the life hereafter and their nearness to their Lord. God has said, and my mercy encompasses all things, so I will ordain it, especially for those who guard against evil and pay zakat, and who believe in our signs. Surah 7, Ayah 156. This explanation has been written, putting this ayah in the framework of the whole Qur'an, of which it is the first sentence. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi tahirin. Salawat and thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Bilkis, for this. Before we start the talk, children who are in reception to year 3 can make their way to the T4L session in the dining room, and Sayyada will take them. Where's Sayyada? At the back. So any reception to year 3 children, if you go to Sayyada at the back, she'll take you to year 2. Okay, reception to year 2. And children year 3 to year 6, if they can come and sit next to Salba Aunty here. Thank you. So the conference room is also available for parents with young children with audio streaming of the talk. And just a polite reminder that apart from water, no food or drink is allowed in the chapel. So thank you for that. And if I can now invite Tehseen and Shahid to present their talk on group Qur'an journaling, please, if you can welcome them with the salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. It's such a great honor to be standing here today in front of you all to speak about God's holy book, especially in the month of the Qur'an. But I am acutely aware that I am standing in a room full of people of knowledge. And so I thank you for your humbleness of letting me speak today and for giving us the opportunity to share with you what we've learnt on our Qur'an journaling journey and share some of our insights, and hopefully it will be of some benefit, if not a reminder to you, inshallah. So what is Qur'an journaling? You might have heard this term, especially over the last few years, it's become more and more popular. You might have even heard it on social media that everyone is Qur'an journaling. Actually, it's not something new at all. People have done it for generations since the Holy Qur'an was revealed. And what Qur'an journaling is not, it's not scary. Qur'an journaling is not something to be afraid of or something daunting in any way at all. Neither is it something that is only for scholars. Every single one of us can engage with the words in the Holy Qur'an. And it's also not tafsir, or it's not claiming that our interpretations of the Qur'an or what we read from it is the only interpretation or the true interpretation, the way that tafsir works. This is completely different. Qur'an journaling it's a spiritual journey to build a closer relationship with the Qur'an through interacting with its verses, thinking about what those verses mean to us, and writing down our reflections, pondering on ways to improve, and this is really important, sincerely asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us and guide us. It's about recording our thoughts and our understanding as we read the Holy Qur'an, as we interact with the verses, and thinking about what these verses mean to me and writing down our reflections and pondering on ways that Allah can guide us. It's because when we read the Holy Qur'an, the Qur'an expects a reaction from us. Something should happen to us when we read the verses. It's because sometimes we might read a verse and we feel the need to act, to change, do something. Sometimes we might read a verse and it might bring tears to our eyes. Another day we might read a verse that brings us comfort. We might read a verse that makes us prostrate, as we have the verses of sujood in the Qur'an. Every verse is supposed to make us react. That's why the Qur'an says that, why don't they react? Why don't they think? The Qur'an is asking us the same question. It's supposed to have an effect on us. Like the Holy Qur'an says, if it was revealed on a mountain, that mountain would have crumbled. So what about us? So Qur'an journaling is a way of building that relationship with the Holy Qur'an. And it is the most important relationship that a Muslim has to foster. So I'm sure many of you have heard this beautiful hadith from the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, that when one of you would like to converse with his Lord, should read the Qur'an. That's because if we listen to what the Holy Qur'an is telling us, then it will guide us to the best we can possibly be. It will save us from the damnation of our own souls, and it will motivate us to really be guided on the straight path. But we're really busy throughout the day, and even our minds are always busy. But I find that the Qur'an has a way of piercing through that busyness, that fog in our minds, and really getting to the heart of the matter. And I'm sure many of you will have had those experiences with the Holy Qur'an where it hits you right where it matters, and sometimes in a moment when you really, really need it. So that's why we thought it would be really good as we come together as a group to share our moments where the Holy Qur'an has done that for us and share our favorite verses.
Assalamu alaikum. So I think, and I hope by now, everyone is convinced that thinking about the Qur'an, reflecting about it is a good thing. And then beyond that, there's something in addition when you are journaling. Whether you do that in your mind, whether you do that on paper with a pen, whether you do it electronically with your finger on your device, there's something about synthesizing that information and then processing it. Now, Tehseen and I would now like to offer and propose a model in another step, in a group way, so group Qur'an journaling. And so we've got a couple of activities. The first one has two purposes. Firstly, to become comfortable with the format and the use of technology, and just introducing you to that just now. And the second is to introduce you to this idea of group Qur'an journaling, this model we're proposing today. And we'll build upon that in a moment. So the task is, please, I'd like you to all, in a moment, spend about 30 seconds thinking about a verse that has impacted you. Your favorite verse, a verse that you read recently that you found interesting or thought-provoking. And then I'd like you to submit this to our word cloud. So spend 30 seconds thinking, 30 seconds submitting. And what I'd like you to do is in the format where you write the number of the chapter, colon, number of the verse, and then just in one or two words, the reason why you found this poignant. I've given an example here. So can you now please all put up your device? You can either scan in the QR code. If you can't zoom in enough, can you please use your browser and go to vevox.app. It's not an app. You're not downloading an app. It's on your browser, vevox.app. And please can you type in that ID number? 191528935. 30 seconds thinking, 30 seconds, and let's see what we get. Thank you. We're having some submissions now. Please now upload it to the word cloud. If you can, please put in a word or two after, just to state why that verse is impactful for you, if you can. Tehseen's coming to offer some technical support if anybody. Please keep thinking. Please keep submitting if you can. I'm now going to start picking a couple of these verses, and let's see if we can explore and expand and what these are. This is lovely. This is lovely. I'm going to begin just randomly. 3, 1, 3, 4. Those who spend benevolently in ease as well as in straightness, and those who restrain their anger and pardon men. And Allah loves the doers of good. Let me pick out this one. 2286 gives hope. Allah does not impose upon any soul a duty but to the extent of its ability. For it is the benefit of what it has earned, and upon it the evil of what it has wrought. O Lord, do not punish us if we forget or make a mistake. O Lord, do not lay on us a burden as thou didst lay on us those before us. O Lord, do not impose upon us that which we have not the strength to bear. And pardon us, and grant us protection, and have mercy on us. Thou art our patron, so help us against the disbelieving people. 57:16. Join me and have a look at some of these verses. Has not the time yet come for those who believe that their hearts should be humble for the remembrance of Allah and what has come down of the truth, and that they should not be like those who were given the book before, but the time became prolonged to them, so their hearts hardened, and most of them are transgressors. Maybe I'll do this last one, 244, authenticity. What, do you enjoin men to be good and neglect your own souls whilst you read the book? Have you then no sense? That's really powerful. That's really powerful. I'd encourage you all to take a photo of this slide and think about that when you get the chance, maybe this evening, over the weekend, just to see what different verses are impactful for different people and the reasons why. And I think that's amazing. So thank you everyone for contributing. I hope you feel a bit more comfortable firstly using these word clouds. We'll use them in a moment, in a few minutes' time. And also to get used to this and to begin to see the value of contributing as a group and hearing each other's reflections. I'm now going to hand back to Tehseen just to expand some of these frameworks of Qur'an journaling, just to make it easier for us.
Oh, thank you. Can you take a picture for us? Okay, so I really love to see what other people's favorite verses are, because sometimes I might have read them before, sometimes not. And every time you read it, again, it's got a different meaning. So sometimes a new meaning is revealed. Okay, so I thought I'd just go through some practical steps, things that you can do that will help with Qur'an journaling, help with reflecting on the Holy Qur'an. So the first one I wrote is fairly obvious, but thinking about who's speaking to us when we read the Holy Qur'an. Just remembering that these are the words of Allah, remembering that He's the creator of the heavens and the earth, and that He has given us this book to guide us, is just so impactful as we're reading, because the Holy Qur'an has a message for us all, and remembering that really helps us to be able to connect to those verses. I mean, for me, when I think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this book of guidance, the first feeling I feel is so much thankfulness that Allah has guided insignificant me to His ways. Or, for example, we might feel full of love, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us enough to guide us and help us. Especially sometimes when we feel maybe full of despair in a dark world, that Allah is full of love and guidance. And also, it makes me feel really hopeful, because it means that if Allah has sent me this book to guide me, then maybe I can be guided by His grace, and maybe I have a chance of living a happy life that He has guided me towards. And thinking that this Qur'an is from Allah to me as a personal message, it means that I know that its verses can be applied in my daily life. So that's the first one, always keeping in mind that the Qur'an is the word of Allah and that He has given it to us personally as guidance. The second one that I find really helps now, like most children, I have a very active imagination. So visualization really helps me. When I say visualization, the Holy Qur'an is so descriptive. And just looking, for example, at the descriptions of heaven and hell, we can almost like imagine them in our mind. So when there's conversations on the Day of Judgment or descriptions of the food and drink that are consumed in paradise and hell, it's so descriptive that you can try to imagine even tasting those drinks in hell, for example, and using that as a motivation for you when you're thinking about doing something bad, that, you know, imagine that, you know, what is prepared for people who, for example, do these things, drinks of, you know, even the kids can understand, drinks of boiling water and pus and all horrible things that if you imagine it, you don't want to be anywhere near it. And I think there's a reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been so descriptive in that sense. And even thinking about Jannah and rivers of milk and honey and brocades of silk can sometimes motivate you to be good. And maybe most of all, the idea that people in paradise have peace is something that can really give us a goal in life as well. So this is something, visualization really is helpful. The other thing you can do with visualization is imagine yourself within the stories of the Qur'an. So put yourself in the position of Bani Israel. Put yourself in the position of the holy prophets. So for example, in the story of Prophet Musa, just imagine how he must have felt when Allah told him he needed to go and confront Fir'aun, go and speak to him. He must have been full of anxiety. Think about his reaction when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him that command. First he asked some help from among his family. Then he asked, maybe he made a dua as well. I'm not saying you're all like Fir'aun, I'm saying that sometimes when we're with anxiety about having to speak, we might, you know, think about what Prophet Musa had to go through. And that's so applicable to our daily life. So visualization is such a massive part of trying to connect to the verses. For everyone, it's different. Connecting to the emotions. So as you know, every verse of the Holy Qur'an has a tone of expression. And understanding that tone and connecting to the emotion of a verse can really foster our attachment to the Holy Qur'an. And it gives us a really good understanding of Qur'anic expression. How does the Qur'an talk to us? And understanding that is really important. And the last one is dua. And this is a real game changer for me, that every verse or group of verses can be followed by a prayer, by a dua. If the verses are talking about the muflihun, the successful ones, pray to be among them. If the verses are talking about, you know, backbiting, pray that you never backbite. Ask Allah for help. Even if your prayer is something like mine often is, oh Allah, help me to understand this verse because I don't understand it, or I'm not connecting with it. So your prayer can be anything. But you know how I said that hadith in the beginning, that if you want to converse with Allah, then His way of conversing with you is the Holy Qur'an. And to make that into a conversation, if you say your prayers back or recite du'as back, it becomes two-way. Allah talks to you through the Qur'an, and you talk to Allah through your prayers. So every verse or group of verses can be followed by a dua. And that's because the Qur'an should be a source of development for us. When we read it, as I said in the beginning, we should react, but we should also improve. And that improvement comes with prayer as well. And if we're not improving, we should ask ourselves why. So those are my 4 main tips, and we're going to, inshallah, have a go with them. But just a couple of other ones is that when you're reciting the verses, recite them again. Go over the verses and then read them again, because maybe the second time a different meaning or a different understanding will come to you. Also, write down your questions. it's okay to have questions when you read verses. And mashallah, we have so many people of knowledge that we can ask when they have time for our, a list of questions that we might have. Also keeping good company and, staying around people who also have an interest in the Qur'an, that you can talk to them about your favorite verses, for example, is really good. And also learning Arabic. I know despite Sheikh Tadri's best efforts, I still don't know enough Arabic. So, I encourage you all. It will really help you with your understanding of the Holy Qur'an, and remind myself as well. Okay, so now it's our turn, inshallah.
So now Tehseen has built for us a model of being able to think about these 4 different aspects when we're thinking about each verse. Now is the time for the volume in the chapel to increase, and for the room to liven up. So our next activity is, I would like you all, after I've explained, to get into groups of either 3 or 4 people. I don't mind how you arrange. You can be in your comfort zones, you can be with people you're next to, you can be with family, be with friends, anything you want. Groups of 3 or 4, please. We've got one group specifically for the Time for Learning team, and we've got 4 verses in total. Your task is to look at one verse, which I'm going to give to you on paper, and make at least 4 submissions to the word cloud in your group. 1 submission per theme. So from each group, I'm expecting at least 4 submissions to the word cloud on each theme, okay? 4 in total, 1 per theme. Little bit of a challenge I'm adding to it. I want you to synthesize your thought in less than 20 characters, okay? Perhaps you could nominate a scribe in your group, and as I said, let the volume increase. So can everyone please form groups now? I'm going to come around and hand over a little handout to everybody. You have another 7 minutes for this task. Another 7 minutes. Three minutes left, please. 3 minutes. Last minute now, please, before we wrap up. 1 more minute. Good. Okay, everyone, can we please come back together now? Thank you so much for your engagement with this activity. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for increasing the volume. Thank you so much for engagement. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So I hope this is beginning to give an illustration of this model that we're proposing. Moving from thinking, reflecting, to journaling, to group journaling. And here now what we can see is 4 word clouds, which have a verse. Each one has ideas and thoughts from 4 different lenses from all of us here. And we've pulled that all together in a group Qur'an journaling session. Now, it'll be nice to unpack this and go through this verse by verse and see if we can unpack anything and some nice ideas from here. So, let's begin here. This verse. And we certainly created for hell many of the jinn and mankind. They have hearts with which they do not understand. They have eyes with which they do not see. And they have ears with which they do not hear. Those are like livestock. Rather, they are more astray. It is they who are the heedless. I'd like to now pick out some of these words and just understand what they mean. I'm going to come around and ask if whoever stated this can just give a 10-15 second explanation as to what they meant by this. Hearts are dirty. Can I ask who put that definition? Hearts are dirty. Thank you, thank you. 10 seconds, what did you mean?
The hearts that don't understand, they're covered over with dirt. So the veil has to be removed for them to understand.
And was that a visualization that you had? Fantastic, thank you. Another one. Burning stench. That sounds interesting. Who said burning stench, please?
It was the burning smell of the livestock in the fire.
Wow. So it's not just the livestock, but it's the smell of them burning. Wow. That's amazing imagery. Dua for second chance.
Yeah, so the second chance is because if there was a potential that you go to hell, then you would ask for a second chance.
Thank you. I'm interested by this one here. Feel sorry for them. Can I ask who said this? Thank you.
We had some discussion whether it should be sorry or sad, because we felt that they were missing something, and we felt a bit frustrated that they didn't see it, and we made a distinction between those who understood and ignored it, and those who didn't genuinely understand.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that. Tools provided. I don't know if I understand that. Tools provided. Can anyone share what that means, please? It must have been someone from over here. Is anyone volunteering? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. No? Let's move on. Fear, urgency, purpose. Can I ask who said that? This is the one. I feel like I've told you guys.
So obviously there's a fear of hell and there's an urgency to do the opposite of that, and then that equates to having a sense of purpose, moving away from the hell.
Yep, we agree with that, but I think we also wanted to say was that obviously people who have eyes can see, people who have hearts, well, not necessarily hearts, but ears do hear. So it's not talking about physical sight or physical hearing. It's asking for us to use these organs for perhaps a spiritual reason, to find deeper meaning. So what was the actual 3 words? Fear, what was it? Right, so all of these organs which we have, the sight, the hearing, the hearts, they have a purpose beyond the physical seeing, beyond the physical hearing. And so it's identifying what the purpose is and then trying to achieve that purpose.
Thank you for sharing your journaling. Thank you. Really valuable. It's such valuable comments. Let's flick to the next verse. Let's have a look here. Okay. Joseph prayed, "My Lord, I would rather be in jail than do what they invite me to. And if you do not turn their cunning away from me, I might yield to them and fall into ignorance." Okay. Edge of a cliff. I like that. Can I ask who said edge of a cliff? Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I guess this ties in with like the imagery that came to mind, where the prophet is kind of saying that if God doesn't help him, he's going to yield and fall into ignorance. So for me, it's like he's at the edge of a cliff, and if God doesn't help him, he's basically going to fall off the cliff.
Thank you. There's somebody else who said at a crossroads. Can I ask who said that? I wonder if it's different. Can you explain?
It felt like there was like two choices and then like a crossroad, and then you could go one way or the other way, and then you need Allah to guide you the right way.
Thank you. Can anyone help to unpick this for me? Steadfast/persevere. Who stated that one? Steadfast/persevere.
So we felt that, I don't even know what we're talking about. So Prophet Yusuf is asking God to help him to stay on the right path. So he, even though his situation is very difficult and he's in jail, there's still that risk of like kind of looking for the easy way out. So staying in jail is much harder, but following, the other side would be the wrong choice. So he needs to stay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Someone said this whole verse is a dua. Can I ask whoever said that to unpack that for us? Thank you.
It's basically asking God to be far away from like sin, people who do sins stuff.
Thank you. You want to add? No. Thank you. Thank you very much. And the last point I want to pick up from here is despair and faith. I'm interested by this. Matia. Thank you.
I think we had a nice discussion about how the wording of it is, and if you do not turn their cunning away from me. So there's almost like there's nothing I can do as my action, but only you can save me. So the salvation is not from me, but yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all your contributions. It brings a fuller picture with all those different perspectives and lenses. So I love hearing all your views. Thank you so much, everyone, for contributing. Maybe I should have said whoever puts it at the beginning, I'll come and ask you, but then I'm glad I didn't. I forgot to say that. Okay, our third of 4 verses today. Satan threatens you with poverty and orders you to immorality, while Allah promises you forgiveness from him and bounty. And Allah is all-encompassing and knowing. Can I begin with hope against anxiety?
No. For you, but you said it.
No, please. You.
Sheikh was saying, he made me write it, that of course shaitan threatens you and makes you go towards immorality, with threatening you with poverty, so it makes a person stemming from someone's anxiety from what the future might bring in terms of poverty and lack of means. But then Allah is saying, well, Allah promises you the opposite. So it's giving you hope against what might be there in the future. I'm sure Shaykh would have elaborated much more articulately, but...
So the hope supersedes the anxiety or the worry.
Is that what you meant, Shaykh? Yeah, that's what you meant. Yeah.
Thank you. I like this visualization, justice scale. Can anyone? Thank you, John.
There was a lot of in our verse about the two extremes. You've got the fear and you've got the hope at the same time, and it's the two extremes. So yeah, it was a bit like a justice scale we're saying, where you've got the good and the bad, the plus and the negative, if you want, and it's just about, depending on what you do in your actions, where you're going to tip one side more than the other.
Thank you. And maybe a similar, different visualization of two sides of a coin. Thank you.
So I thought, with obviously two sides of a coin, you have one side is the head and one side is the tails. I thought that shows the difference between Allah and Shaitan.
Okay, yeah.
Where
like opposites.
Yeah, so say you have Allah, who is the merciful, on one side, whereas you have, who is obviously encompassing the heavens and the earth, you have Shaitan, who is thrown into hell. So.
Thank you very much. Thank you. These are such powerful reflections. I really value hearing all of these. And our last verse, which is from our Time for Learning team. I'm going to come to you guys just in a moment if you feel comfortable to speak. Had we sent down this Qur'an upon a mountain, you would have certainly seen it humbled and torn apart in awe of Allah. We set forth such comparisons for people, so perhaps they may reflect. You're still adding on to the word cloud, that's brilliant. So powerful. That's a lovely I'd love to hear what you mean.
So the Quran's so powerful that it can make a mountain crumble.
Amazing, thank you.
Basically, it's saying that not the heaviness or the might of the Quran, but the contents is making the mountain crumble in amazement.
Thank you. That is a beautiful comment. Let's see what else you have written here. Amazed by Qur'an. I love that. Thank you.
So it's like the mountain is like so strong that like we would think that nothing can destroy it except like some like man-made weapon, but the Quran is so like pure and it's just radiating pure power that when it goes close to the mountain, it's saying that the mountain will crumble because of just the pure power of the Quran.
I'm touched by the sincerity of this group. This is beautiful. And the last one I'd like to ask, can help me to understand, is use aql. Who can help me to understand what that means?
Basically, you got to use your brain to reflect on the verse.
Thank you. That's awesome, and thank you for facilitating that. That's brilliant. So as we wrap this up, what I wanted to showcase today with you all is this idea, this model that we're proposing of group Quran journaling, multiple people looking at the verses from multiple lenses, as Tehseen described that framework, and together we can formulate this really rich idea of what different verses mean.
Okay, so thank you all so much for listening, and I hope that you all have a chance to Quran journal throughout this holy month, and share your reflections with your friends over iftar, inshallah. I think that's all we have to say. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much, Tehseen and Shahid. to help us hopefully make the Quran this month. I'm sure you all agree that the activities were very helpful. Thank you for your amazing contribution. And by the way, take over there, you're not allowed to be in the same group next time. I'm watching. So, our next program is inshallah tomorrow, starting with Maghrib, followed by Iftar. Tomorrow's talk is on bullying and its impact on mental health by Nikwat Marawat. Nikwat is the founder and director of the mental health charity, The Delicate Mind. Also, if you would like to join our WhatsApp group or mailing list to stay up to date with our upcoming programs, then please approach any members of the T4C team. They should be wearing their badges, hopefully, if they listen to me. And if anybody would like to reset the short Ramzan duas after Maghrib or Isha Salah, then please contact Farah Guramali. The number is on her WhatsApp group and on the screen as well behind me. This opportunity to recite is for both ladies and gents, adults or children, so everybody is welcome to take part. We kindly request your generous donation towards our Ramzan programs and Iftar. You can sponsor a full Iftar or partial if you would like as well. The cost of the full Iftar is £700, and you can sponsor in memory of your loved ones. You can donate by card or cash at the desk that's at the entrance, or by PayPal or bank transfer. The details have been shared on the WhatsApp group. Before we pray Isha Salat, can I please request you all to recite the Surah Fatiha for the people of Palestine and the oppressed people all over the world. The marhumin whose name are on the screen who have sponsored today's iftar, and all marhumin al-Fatiha.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أشهد